Y'all, the more and more I read the Bible, I can even reflect on the psychology books that I've read and how everything is just so connected. So, if you're struggling with depression, anxiety, negative self talk, negative self image, insecurity, feeling hopelessness, and just like, why am I here? And you just feel that emptiness inside. It is due to our core beliefs. So, of course, if it's positive and you're a go getter and you are a problem solver and you're optimistic, it comes and it stems from your core beliefs. Okay? Beliefs that first started off as a form of thoughts that was influenced by experiences, observation, education, or communication, what you've been told. A lot of things, especially dealing with our identity or how we perceive ourselves in life, stems from our childhood. Like this one book, it's called The Body Keeps a Score. I recommend this book for anyone who is just trying to heal. This is a good form of therapy. It's a good book to read and journal just to help you process through things that bothers you, things that are hindering you. You know, this is a great book just to understand that this body that God created is a machine, is a vehicle housing our spirit. It keeps a score of all that we experience. Scientifically, it's like a pattern. We behave in a pattern. Even spiritually, we behave in a pattern for learning purposes. Okay? For learning purposes, it's not supposed to be a thing that hinders you from doing a thing and, blocks you from evolving and progressing in life. But things can turn negative when we take those patterns, we take those experiences, and it forms negative thoughts, which forms a belief that ends up affecting our identity, the way we perceive ourselves, the way we perceive life. Okay? For people who have gone through trauma, abuse, neglect, whatever is an experience that is honestly the opposite of what God intended for us to experience, due to sin being the world. A lot of us are using our free will to do things that is the opposite of God's will, and it forms something that is called trauma, okay, because it's going against the grain, and it leaves us not feeling love. It leaves us not being nurtured. It leaves us without meaning. Okay? When we're operating outside of God's will, it is meaningless. Life is meaningless without God. Okay? So if you are struggling with, anxiety, fear, negative self-talk, self-image, and doubt, that is hindering you from achieving a thing, is hindering you from being in spaces and being a part of community and relating with people and just being optimistic, you need to start questioning, what are your core beliefs? Because I promise you, it's tied. It's all connected. Okay? God says in 2 Timothy 1:7, He didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. Love, because God is love, is unconditional. It is love that can silence fear. Love that can mend and heal people. Love that can silence strife and bring people together. And then power that it strengthens us to be able to be overcomers, to look at challenges like, okay, well, I'm going to be a problem solver right now in this moment, or I'm going to adhere to what God says and still do this thing and still walk down this road and just go through this situation that is uncomfortable or inconvenient or hard, really hard. It could be even devastating, whatever it is, We have strength. We have this power. God is about empowerment. And to have a sound mind, no matter the circumstance. That is what God provides. That's what God said He instilled within us, His creation. But right now some of us may be experiencing the opposite due to our core beliefs. And if we're believing things that are contrary to what God says, which God is, truth, the contrary is false. So false ideas, false thoughts, contrary thoughts, it affects our identity. It affects our mood, our emotions, which will end up affecting our reality and destiny. So I'm going to leave that there. It's time for us to really reflect. What are our core beliefs? What are the thoughts? And where did it come from? Because 9 times out of 10, it came from what we experienced in childhood and just, our developmental years. Because, of course, we're always evolving and maturing, but definitely in our childhood and our upbringing, it solidified some of the beliefs that affects our identity and how we perceive the world, how we even perceive God. With that being said, it is time for us to align with who God says we are. It's time for us to become aligned with His will. Because, trust me, it will dispel some of the root of our issues, our identity crisis, even what they call mental illness. It will dispel, we'll know the root and become aware of why we are experiencing a lot of anxiety and why certain things are triggering us. It's triggering the depression, the anxiety, the negative self-talk, and the imposter syndrome and things. Like, God has made us to be confident, courageous, to live in love, to want to be in community and love on each other and help the vulnerable population, to be problem solvers and stand in the gap, when there's matters arise and things, challenges arise, that will stand in the gap, we'll come up with a solution just to help us all, to be caring. There are a lot of factors that are affecting us right now, and it's time that we pay attention. All right, bye.